Morning, everybody. Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com. Leaving an Orange Theory class. Doing my best to start Monday morning off right. And you might be watching this video saying to yourself, man, it's Monday morning. Another week of maybe working a job, trying to run your reselling business, managing everything with your family, with your health, and you're like, man, this reselling business isn't easy. Everybody told me it was easy. All the gurus told me it was easy. You know, you just buy low, you sell high. It's easy, and you make a bunch of money and you get rich, right? That ain't the way it works. And I wanted to make this video on a Monday morning to share the reality of, you know, the truth is it is easy to just buy an item and flip an item and make a couple of bucks. But it's not easy to consistently make income reselling. I don't care what method you're doing, eBay, Amazon, wholesale, private label, eBay to Amazon, thrifting. It's not easy to do it at a level that allows you to, how do I say it? Maybe quit your job or support your family, you know, make six figures. That's not easy. It's doable. It's simple, but it's not easy. Again, and let me reiterate, anybody could go out to a thrift store. Anybody could sell some stuff from around your house. Anybody could buy an item from eBay and flip it on Amazon. Anybody could resell. It's simple to do. It's actually easy to do on a small scale, but you've got to switch your psychology up when you're thinking about, you know, going from just 4 figures to 5 figures to 6 to 7 figures. You've got to tell yourself it's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. You want to try to get better every single day. And that's what I try to focus on. I try to get better every single day. Now, do I always get better? No. Do I mess up all the time? Absolutely. But I'm always trying to figure out how I can get better. I'm not trying to ask myself how I can make things, you know, like I want it to be easier, but you have to understand it's not going to be easy. And a lot of people start this business because they say to themselves, oh, it's going to be easy and I'm going to make all this money and I'm going to get rich. And I get messages all the time from people. And there was one I had gotten yesterday in a Facebook group, and it's at least the way I interpreted it was, you know, this isn't as easy as it, you know, as I thought it was going to be, as people make it out to be. And the truth is, it's not. It's easy to source a couple of items. It's easy to list a couple items. It's easy to ship a couple items, but it's certainly not easy to build a real business reselling. And a lot of you guys need to switch up your mindset. Stop hoping and praying that it's easier. You want to set up systems, you want to educate yourself, and you want to make sure that you work every single day on your business. And over time, it will get easier. But remember, in the beginning, it's going to be super hard. Learning how to list, learning how to source, learning how to analyze, all of that, it isn't easy. It's not like we learn all this in school. And the truth is, a lot of us, we haven't read a book. We haven't learned anything since high school. Some of us might be 30, 40, 50 years old. And now we're trying to learn all this new technology, and things are changing all the time. And you have to learn about bookkeeping, and you have to learn about taxes. And you're learning about all the different ins and outs of products and why things don't sell. And, you know, you're looking at your inventory and you're trying to figure out, like, you know, what inventory is selling really well so I could replenish it and focus on it more. What inventory isn't working so well. And it's not easy. I want to say this right now. If you're starting a reselling business because you're going to just make a whole ton of money and it's going to be so easy, and you know, it's this secret, right, that nobody knows about, that's a bowl of baloney. It ain't the way it works. Now, for me, it beats working at the Cracker Barrel. It beats delivering pizzas. It beats, for my personality, having a boss and somebody telling me what to do, right? But reselling comes with its own set of challenges. You have to be self-motivated. You have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent. You don't have to be the best, right? You don't have to always be perfect every single day. It's kind of like the baseball analogy, right? If you want to become one of the top baseball players in the world and get into the Hall of Fame, you're allowed to fail 7 out of 10 times. Yep, if you have a 300% batting average, you know, over, you know, 5, 10, 15 plus years, you're going to be one of the best baseball players in the world. And the same goes when it comes to reselling. You don't have to be perfect. You can make mistakes. You know, you don't want to make 7 out of 10 mistakes, But it's okay to make some mistakes. It's okay to have some days where you don't work. It's okay to have some, days where you feel like quitting and you're saying to yourself, this isn't easy, man. Maybe I should go back to work in a job. Maybe this isn't for me. And again, the main point I want to get across in this video, as I have a smoothie after leaving my Orange Theory class, which, by the way, those classes are intense. I don't know if anybody here has ever gone to an Orange Theory class, but man, it ain't cheap, but you get yourself a kick-ass workout. This business isn't easy. It's really not, and especially once you start hiring virtual assistants and whatnot. I mean, I have a pretty big team now across my various businesses. It's easier to do things on your own in a sense. It's a whole new set of skills when you start hiring virtual assistants to source and list and reprice, and you're trying to get other people to be motivated. You're trying to get other people to be disciplined. You're trying to get other people to care about your business. So in the beginning, it's really, really hard because you're trying to figure out, how do I get myself to be disciplined? How do I manage all my time? How do I put out all these fires? And how do I learn how to source and list and ship? And how do I learn the ins and outs of Amazon or eBay, whatever platform you're doing? But then you hit a point where you're like, okay, now I understand how to do all this. I'm still learning, I'm still making mistakes, but now I need to get people to source for me. I need to get people to list for me. I need to get people to ship. I need to build a team. And that's a whole new set of challenges. So in the beginning, it's super freaking hard. And then you hit a point where you're like, oh, this is easier. But then you hit another challenge where you're like, I don't have any time. So then you're taking a couple steps back to teach other people to do it. That's the point I'm at right now. And it's not easy. It is challenging. This business is hard, okay? Do not get into a reselling business. I don't care if you're thrifting books from Goodwill, or you're running an eBay to Amazon business, or you're running a wholesale business. This business is not easy. If you started this business and you're trying to make a substantial amount of money, I'm talking, let's just say, for the sake of this audience, if you're trying to make over $5,000 a month, it's going to be hard. I would say it's not extremely hard to just make a couple $1,000s a month. I know there's a lot of, stay-at-home moms and folks who are just looking to make a couple $100s a month, maybe a couple $1,000s a month on the side. That's not extremely hard to do, but I would say once you start getting over the $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month mark, you really have to have systems in place, and you have to really be disciplined. That's what I notice amongst, a lot of my friends and followers who are really struggling to get over that $5,000 a month mark. They're treating the business not like a business. They're treating it like a hobby, and they leave a lot of things up to chance. In terms of their sourcing. They don't really have a system for sourcing. They kind of go out sourcing when they feel like it. They kind of list whatever they feel like listing. They don't have, like I remember when I used to run a full-time eBay business, I would have a certain amount of listings that I would do first thing in the morning, okay? And the reason I did my listings first thing in the morning is because I knew if I got my listings done, everything else would take care of itself. Because I know I have to ship my items. There's no way I'm not going to ship out my items, but there is a way that I could make excuses that I'm not going to send out an FBA shipment, or I'm not going to get my eBay listings done. So you have to ask yourself as well, this has helped me a lot, what are the big things that are going to move my business forward? And the big thing for a lot of us is listing quality items, right? Now, of course, you have to source those items first, so that's the prerequisite to this whole thing. But given that you've already sourced high quality items, every single day you've got to set a goal, and you have to get those items listed out. Now, I'm a little different. We list and ship once a week, every Saturday morning. That's just our process. So we buy everything during the week. It all comes in. Saturday, we batch it all out. We typically ship out, could be anywhere from, 150 items to 500 items. We're actually starting to ship out less items now because we're focusing on higher end items. So I was actually looking at my numbers last night in my Amazon business. I just passed 460,000 in sales for the last 12 months, sitting around 50,000 a month right now. And the interesting thing was previously I was going all out with mostly media, books, CDs, DVDs, mostly DVDs. But over the last 3 months, I've really shifted my business from going after media only, which media is great. The ROI is fantastic. My ASP, my average selling price, was around 38 to 40. I just looked over the last 30 days. My volume has dropped significantly, but my sales are the same. And my ASP went from $40 to $60, which is really exciting. And I find that to be a little bit easier because, you know, it doesn't take any extra work for me to source an item that's going to sell for 60 versus 40 with my online arbitrage method. And it actually reduces the workload on my team to prep, inspect items, list items, reconcile inventory. There's less returns. And it's just a better way for me to put my capital to work. So that's kind of what's going on in my business right now. But it's not easy. There's never a day where I wake up and I'm like, oh, this reselling business is so easy. I guess it's easy in a sense of like if I'm on vacation or I'm taking a couple weeks off, which I do from time to time. That's easy because after you front load all the work and you ship it all into Amazon FBA, it's easy because you could sit back. And the cool thing about FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, is once you ship everything to the Amazon warehouses, they'll pick it, pack it, ship it, deal with customer service, and you get paid. So I guess that's one of the easier parts, but it's not easy in the beginning because you have to work your freaking butt off to get all the inventory, put your capital to work, source it all, list it all, ship it all out. And then it's easy, right? And that's one of the things I like about Amazon over eBay. eBay, you're always on the hamster wheel, running and running and running, physically working. On Amazon, you're working, but in a, how do I say it? Like, my capital is working for me much more than my physical body is having to work for me. Does that make sense? Like, when you're on eBay, you know, I guess if you have a wholesale source or something like that and you're using like multi-channel fulfillment with Amazon, that's a different situation. I know some eBay sellers who do that, but for the most part, the average eBay seller, they're working their butt off going to the thrift stores and they're working their butt off finding inventory and bringing it home and listing it and storing it in inventory, and then they're picking it and they're packing it and they're answering best offers and they're shipping it and dealing with the returns. They're doing everything on their own, which is fine. But the thing I like about Amazon is I don't have to do any of that, especially with eBay to Amazon flipping. You know, I put my money to work, I source it all, it comes to my house once a week. We literally ship it all out to Amazon and we're done. And then we just rinse and repeat that cycle. And I have virtual assistants who do it all for me. Takes a lot more capital. Certainly not something for someone to do who's brand new, who doesn't have any capital. I'm trying to see if there's any comments, but I can't see any of the comments coming through. So I don't know if this is working or not. But yeah, reselling certainly not easy. Just wanted to share that video and hopefully everybody is doing fantastic. Just want to say I appreciate you guys. Much love and have yourselves a fantastic Monday morning. Get after it, work hard, get better. Don't wish for it to be easier. Wish for you to be better. Come on, you got this.